Hello there, everybody. Just waiting to see the point at which we appear to be live here. We do appear to be live. I'm just looking on my laptop here to get some confirmation that picture's coming through okay. Alright, well I will be monitoring the chat, so y'all let me know if there's a volume level problem or if things are... Sorry. Alright, so let's begin. Hi everybody, I'm JP, and we're going to play Unreal 1 from Unreal Gold. Whatever that means. That just means it's got the Return to Not Poly expansion. While people are still showing up here, I'm just going to talk about what this does. So I made a small mod, like it basically all fits on a single page of code here, that removes combat from Unreal. And it's a mutator, because mutators are how you create tiny little gameplay affecting mods that can stack in the Unreal Engine. And all it does is it goes through the list of intelligent entities, pawns, that are in the world. And then if it's one that is going to fight the player, then it hides it and silences it, and then kills it with a lethal jolt of damage as soon as you come within line of sight of it. The reason that I did it this way is because if I just destroyed them on the instant that they were created, then that would cause some problems with Unreal scripting, where it's depending on an enemy having died, having been damaged by the player or something else, rather than just been destroyed. As in, when you destroy something in Unreal Engine, it just ceases to exist, just winks out of existence, is removed from the actor list. Anyway, that's a little technical overview. And the source, this thing is open source, like just about everything else I do. You can get the code for this on my Bitbucket. Anyway, without further ado, it's weird, I don't see anybody's names in the chat. Hold on here. Well, anyway, I'm just going to take it as a given that y'all are connected. Alright, so let's go into the game. So again, this is Unreal, the original Unreal, which came out in May of 1998, when I was but a lad. And I get the impression that it made quite an impression on people when it came out, because it had really fancy engine technology at the time. And I've gone back to try and play it many times since, and I've always found the combat to be the least interesting part of it, whereas exploring the world and kind of enjoying the ambiance and the music and just, yeah, I've always enjoyed that more. And so a few years ago I made that tourism mod that I just showed you. And I'm sorry if that seems sort of heretical, but...
Prisoners 8/9 escaping.
You can decide for yourself whether, how enjoyable this is to watch me walk through a game that has no combat, that's had its combat surgically removed. So, we're some sort of prisoner, and we're in a ship that's crashed. It's kind of a cold open, which I really appreciate. But the very first thing that you pick up in this game is that little translator dealie off of a dead prisoner. And we can bring up this translator and read stuff in the world. It's like a universal translator, can translate alien languages. And also just human languages. Like, this is a prisoner's diary. This is a pretty good one to start off with. Today is my birthday. I will celebrate it by attempting to start another prison riot. Good job, Benjamin Nathaniel. So, yeah. Let's see. Can we go in here? No. Oh, right. This is almost like an Easter egg. Like, right at the beginning here, before you even get onto the main adventure, you take this elevator down, and there's a guy who's scheduled to be executed by electric chair. And they've got these little benches for the next of kin of whoever this guy presumably murdered. And yeah, he's sitting in the electric chair. I don't know if he's alive or dead or what, but yeah, and then you can throw the classic executioner's knife switch. And then... Wait, did I do it? Oh, no. James Kavanaugh ready for electrocution. And yeah, and then the guy gets jibbed because in a video game from 1998, the way that anybody dies is that they are jibbed. So yeah, that's like this weird messed up thing that you see right at the beginning. Tonally, I think it's actually just kind of a bad note, actually. I think it's way cooler that you just see your fellow prisoners dead around you. Some bandages in a toilet. You get the diary about the guy wanting to start a prison riot. We are damaged. Like, we start off with only 12 health, presumably because we got knocked around a bunch in the crash. You can also pick up flares. This has a like classic square bracket to change different inventory items. It's going to be really tiny on the stream, and you can maybe see it in the top right corner of the screen. But yeah, you can just and then you can use different objects. And yeah, you do need to do that a few times, but it's pretty low. Pretty low maintenance kind of mechanic. And that's a scripted screen shake that I guess you can skip out on by going around this way. Anyway, we go into the air vents because it's a video game from 1998. We're in a moody air vent. One of our. I guess this was a. As we'll see in a bit, the default player character is female, and there's a dead female prisoner right there. So this is a sort of forward-thinking, not, or perhaps not, gender-segregated, non-gender segregated prison, which kind of makes me think of. Which kind of makes me think of the non-gender segregated Space Marine Corps from the Alien movies. But yeah, and so we've crawled through a vent, and now we're in this like kind of ship's control panel-y type thing. And here in this room we're seeing one of several different Unreal Engine features. Like, this was the first game that came out with this engine, and they were very proud of this technology, rightfully so, and it was very fancy, and so it all kind of served as a tech demo. And so here we're seeing a reflective floor, and we can see our player character walking along that floor, and it's weird looking because that always looks really bad. And then this is like a this is actually a fire texture. Unreal 1 initially only had a software renderer, and they had this procedural texture system. Well, it wasn't procedural; it was just like a texture that is completely controlled by the CPU. Even in like 3D accelerated versions of the renderer that it had. And so there's a lot of interesting effects, and I'm sure I'll be stopping to drool at these a lot. But yeah, there's a little thing of armor in there. And this is a switch that you hit with your head, because Mario Brothers, I guess. Yeah, and you turn it off. And that gets you like a Kevlar suit armor early on. Which is just kind of weird, but there it is. And yeah, I think I can get back up with this. No. F6 is quick save, right? Yeah, okay. Come on. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned, you're killing me. Alright. One of the reasons that I'm going back to play through this is that Chris Franklin, aka Campster, aka Errant Signal, does a video series called Errant Signal. And he did a short piece recently on Unreal's opening, which is what we're playing through right now. And so that, I think I definitely credit him with getting this game back into my brain and thinking about it. And yeah, he comments on the fact that when you come in through that vent, there's no music at first, and then the music starts up when you get here, which I think is actually like a really nice little storytelling touch. Yeah, this is another example of the Unreal Fire texture system, whereby you can just have like random noise and fractal patterns and stuff going on, and textures with other stuff going. They're just using it for monitor snow. And yeah, like the other thing, game is a tiny bit too loud once the music gets going. Yeah, pretty sure I can fix that. Just go into yes. I had the music all cranked up. Alright. We'll see how that does. Gunfire might get a little loud, but... So yeah, the thing that I actually still enjoy about this game, even though the story itself is not, like, it's a pretty stock, like, person crash-landed on an alien planet kind of story, I like the fact that it is entirely just embedded in the environment. There are still scripted sequences, like Half-Life 1, but... this game relies a lot more heavily on just found text-based narrative. I mean, Half-Life 1 has none of that, yeah, like, you know, that would be an example of a scripted sequence. You know, the state of that art was not what we know of it now, back in 1998. But despite the fact that the story, like, isn't, you know, exceptionally weird or interesting or flavorful, I think the delivery mechanism is pretty cool. Like, and I'm kind of surprised that a big budget game since then, like in the last 5 years, 5 to 8 years, let's say, hasn't done something more like this. I mean, obviously, games like BioShock and stuff have done the find audio logs, but specifically text-based, I don't know. Maybe this is old-fashioned of me. Anyway, let's move on.
You have entered a restricted area.
And yeah, I'm talking all over this atmosphere, but you know, this engine is strutting it. They're using all this colored lighting and atmospheric, shadowy type stuff, and it does still look nice, you know, within what its art direction was trying to do. And so yeah, like this whole first level, it's really just building up atmosphere. This is one of the more involved. Oh, you can barely hear it. So yeah, we just heard a guy get killed by some unseen alien menace on the far side of a door. And there that poor guy was, and well, maybe there were multiple poor folks there. And then this gives us the first weapon in the game. And normally we would have seen an alien, but is that a... No, okay, that's just a texture. You know, and they're using, like, having pulsing lights was still kind of a new thing. This is actually volumetric fog, just a weird kind of... I don't know, I forget how they do this volumetric fog, but back at Human Head, they called them fog balls and used them pretty extensively in Rune. So yeah, like, this also sets up the game to be a lot more of a horror game than it actually is. Like, there are definitely scary moments. First aid station, alright, which I guess just means a health kit sitting on a mirrored floor. I can dig it. But yeah, the rest of the game is not really this scary and focused on building a horror atmosphere, but it does do so sometimes. It's kind of a mix of genres, you know, because, you know, I think it was sort of looking at the Alien films and just other sci-fi stuff that's in the sci-fi collective nerd unconsciousness, and doing this combination of, like, scaring you but also getting you psyched up to, like, shoot guns at aliens, which is, you know, a super prevalent thing in 90s FPSs, and even today. So yeah, this is the name of our ship that we've crashed here on, Vortex Rikers. I don't know if that's a NC-114. I don't know if that's a Star Trek reference or a Stanley Kubrick reference. You know, Stanley Kubrick would always put the number 114 into his films. And yeah, here we're seeing like crew logs of... I mean, I like this one. We're spiraling towards the planet. I don't know what's going to happen to us. You know, that's a cool tense moment. And this appears to be our way out. And then after this claustrophobic stuff, we come out of that decrepit, crashed spaceship, and we're outside. And this was a huge moment for anybody who played this game. You come outside, and this was probably a bigger, wide-open area than most people had ever seen in a first-person shooter at the time. I guess Jedi Knight had come out the year before. Anyway, but yeah, it's like a really nice skybox with a sun and a planet and like multiple layers of clouds going by. There's birds in the sky. There's like a vast thing off that way that we could see. And yeah, and then the music comes on, and it's just this chill kind of music. Moments like this are kind of what motivated me to make a no combat mod, because I'm like, I want moments like this. And I don't necessarily want to be circle strafing around an enemy who is not the most exciting enemy in the world. You know, I'm spoiled on Doom. So, and yeah, that's the first like ammo requiring weapon we get in the game. We turn down the music just a little bit more. I think that's going right. Yeah, okay. And you can jump up on these rocks and go into a little hut. You know, this sort of suggests that it's an inhabited world. Some of the people who got off the ship that you were on, but were then killed, as we can see. They're talking about something that we don't understand yet. Maybe there's another ship on the planet. There's a pool you can swim in. The water is another cool, like, it's kind of noisy and boiling in this. But yeah, that's another procedural texture. You could give it a source texture, like just a static bitmap, and then like paint some perturbation into it so that it would have this ripply roily effect. So yeah, it was a really flexible and interesting texture system. You could basically do that sort of thing nowadays with a shader, but I haven't really seen anybody do anything like this, and that's partly because this looks really unrealistic. It looked really good at the time, and that's something that kind of fascinates me about this game aesthetically. Yeah, that's another classic old log on a dead body. Oh, look, he has a bullet hole in back of him. Something killed him. Powerful alien forces, and so we're like, okay, we should expect some trouble. Really standard storytelling stuff, but you know, it's a nice accent on this moment. And yeah, as Chris pointed out in his errant signal video on this, you go outside and you realize that we're now outside. We can walk around the level that we were just in its entirety. I don't know how much the scale actually matches up there. I'm guessing that it's a little on the small side. And it's carved out this big, like, gully, you know, it's carved out a big trench. And we look down and we see a pretty vertiginous drop. And there's a waterfall. And it's just beautiful stuff. It's cool looking. There's little mosquitoes buzzing in the air. And they're not the mosquitoes that kill you, which is nice. This video game's start to crate is relatively low. Well, actually, there were crates back in the ship, but that's the first one that we can shoot open, I think. That guy's all gnawed on. He's a gory skull of goo. And yeah, as I recall, you can actually jump off of here and land. Yeah, I'm actually just going to do that now. Whee! So yeah, like the very first time that I played this game, I remember doing that just to sort of test the designers on their intent. And I was amazed that I survived, because a lot of times when you make a fall like that, game designer, you know, like the level designers will just kill you because they haven't actually bothered to make this part of the level habitable. But in this case, they absolutely have. And they gave us a little elevator that we can use to get out and walk around down here. I forget how you get across there specifically. But yeah, and that waterfall's coming down. There's like a little ripple in the water there. That's cool. And yeah, there's more birds in the sky. That's one thing that's a bit of a bummer in this tourism mode, is that there's no combat. And normally here there would not be combat either, but it does kind of make you aware of like the scale of the levels. And there's a lot of empty walking. You're just like, yep, I'm walking around. But I don't know, that's kind of the point, you know? You walk a lot when you're a tourist. Yeah, there's that waterfall up a little closer. Ambient creatures, which I always love. Any video game where there's like critters running around and just doing their little creature activities. I love that. I think these are like nolly rabbits. And you can kill them, but I'm definitely not going to do that because I don't want to kill an ambient creature. Oh, actually, this is our first nolly in the game. These are the native people of this planet. They're like four-armed humanoid type people. And this must be a okay, yeah, that's this fellow's diary. And yeah, I guess he's meditating by this. This is a human right here, so, you know, with no dialogue and just one little text log here, they've told this story of like, this Nolly guy here is, you know, his planet is under siege, and he's helping out this human who is wounded, possibly one of our fellow inmates. And he's like, you know, he's bandaged him and has nurtured him back to health, hopefully, or something, and yeah, now he's like kind of basically praying beside him, which is sort of a weird, cool moment. Normally I could do the RPG thing where I run in and just like, well, I'll knock open that barrel, but I don't know, I feel bad, you know, there's like a sweet little scene going on there. Anyway, it's like, what I like about this sort of tourism thing where you remove combat from a game is that if there is anything else in the game besides combat, like, say, exploration, it puts you in a really different frame of mind. You know, you find yourself thinking about, like, I've still got a gun here, so I guess I could have, like, shot the place up or something. But you don't really want to. Like, there's not... You have no reason to. And, yeah. Little elevator takes us back up here. Alright, yeah, and this is if we had gone on past our ship, this is where we would have found it. This is a scripted sequence. Yeah, normally there's an enemy there, and he knocks this guy down a hallway. There's a few scripted sequences in the game that don't make any sense without the enemies, but that's one of the few. Oh yeah, somebody in the chat says, given the spirituality of the Nolly, I had at first assumed he was praying for the dead person's soul or something. That's good too. I mean, there's an ambiguity there because neither of those actors in that scene are really, like, the Nolly is clearly still alive, but the guy's fate is unknown. And yeah, that there's that ambiguity and that they don't, you know, they don't necessarily need to spell it out. There's a little armor on top of there, so... Can't resist. I'm gonna grab it. Also, there's this cool, like, water dripping in the puddle thing. I guess they're not sourcing that. They could have put a little water drip particle up there, but whatever. So yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing about this game is that it has an interactive soundtrack. It's not nearly as complex and beautiful as the it's not as complex and beautiful as, say, the iMuse implementation in Monkey Island 2, but each music track for a level can have multiple tracks, and you can use level scripting to tell it to go to a different sub-track. The Deus Ex, which used the same engine as this, Unreal 1, used it for conversation versus combat versus dying, I think. And this just uses that, I think, usually just for an action theme, you know, and it was like turning into combat techno for that enemy encounter that the game thought we were having back there. This is just some little off-the-beaten-path detour kind of thing, where there's like some crates we can jump on and get some armor or ammo or something. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Sometimes, like, even though normally there are enemies placed here, and there's an enemy that shoots rockets, but those rockets were scripted to come out of nowhere, just to, you know, kind of freak the player out and make them aware that an enemy's around the corner. That's something that I definitely did on BioShock a few times, like scripting enemy fire even when an enemy wasn't necessarily there. But yeah, that was so. And my little tourism mod does not wipe out those little scripting things. I think I remember on BioShock doing scripting, checking to see if the person who was fictionally supposed to be doing the gun firing was still alive, and only firing that scripting if they were, but that's just that extra little quality pass type stuff. Oh yeah, M. Lebled, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, says, look around for the Sunspire Mountain in the distance. And yeah, one of these, you know, the skybox actually has some texture flats in it, and I believe that's the Sunspire right there, just looming up there. That is a location that we will actually go to, which, yeah, I hope that is, in fact, what they were going for, because it's a really cool touch, if so. Alright, and then we're going to get sucked into another level here. And yeah, you will notice that, yeah, we can't go back. And yeah, now we're in a very stock video game location, actually. This level's pretty well designed, but it's much more of a stock... I mean, a prison ship, I guess, is also a pretty stock video game location. I don't know, I don't like... I kind of want to get through this area as quickly as possible, just because it's like... It's only visually splendid in some places, and it's more about a paced combat experience, and yeah. There is, however, lava, and it looks real good. Like, you know, that's not realistic looking. Like, the thing that I like about this game, that I think is still somewhat noteworthy, is that its aesthetic today reads as like a tech demo, you know, as like a demo scene kind of thing. You know, they're using all these fire textures and doing all this flashy kind of stuff, and it goes against a lot of what the current dogma of, you know, here they're using like this light pulse style that's just like, you know, sort of strange looking. You know, it goes against the dogma of what a realistically art-directed, the sort of stock photorealism that a lot of AAA games go for now. And I think that's neat, and I think I would love to see something today, like a first-person shooter that's like telling a story and stuff, that has a tech demo-y kind of aesthetic. I don't know what that would mean exactly. I think it would take a lot of visual development effort to really nail that down. But yeah, I think it's potentially interesting. So we turned off a little generator there, made the cool lightning texture go away, and now we're going to run into a Cliffy B special. It's a really scripted sequence. Oh, we're blocked off. Maybe we got to double back. Oh, we're locked in. Oh no. Lights going out one by one. And there go all the lights. And then these like emergency lights come on, and normally the first Scarge that we fight in the game pops out. But this is kind of a garbage encounter. Like, you're in this like very narrow hallway, and so you don't really have and the Scarred shoot stuff that you want to dodge, but you don't really have much room to. So it's really not a very good encounter. I mean, the build-up to it is cool, but I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be a frustrating encounter so that you get that those enemies are really tough and powerful, but I don't know. Another enemy that we would be seeing here are like, they're these little lamprey type things that adhere to the ceiling and launch spines at you, and they're just frickin' annoying. They're just silly and annoying, and I don't like them at all, so I'm glad that they're not here. Man, I love this. Like, see, this is one of the touches I'm talking about when I say tech demo aesthetic, is like there's like a warbly water texture on these crystals, and it just makes them look like just sci-fi weirdness, and I love it. Yeah, and there's some lens flares, you know, like they work the lens flares really hard, and they like attenuate as they go behind geometry. So like, you know, that stuff is all rad. Alright, that's like a little passageway we can clear. And then this is just like a little out-of-the-way spot. It's got a little bit of fog in it, and a Nolly who I think was like helping someone tunnel out or something. I will wait until the two suns have set and proceed through Rajigar Mine. It is the only way. So yeah, these guys had an escape plan. They didn't quite make it. I don't know if they got caved in or something. Oh yeah, I accidentally didn't go here. There was a cool force field effect on this that we shut down by turning off those switches, but yeah. We'll see that cool force field effect again. Wireless Mouse says, the encounter might be bad, JP, but it's the one thing in this game that was burned into my head for all time. It's true. I think it is. It does succeed in being memorable. I'm being a snob about FPS combat and saying like, well, if this was a really well-made Doom level, that wouldn't be a very good encounter. But it does succeed at being memorable, and it's a good introduction for the Scarge guy. So like, yeah, no, it is good in that respect, and I know that it's definitely fondly remembered. I fondly remember it. Even if I don't necessarily want to play it again now. Just catching up on the chat here. Yeah, a journal that tells you about Harabed. MLEBLED. MLEBLED. That's why I love this game's attempt at building a consistent world. It really makes you feel the scale. Yeah, and I agree. The scale is what made Unreal. It's a good point. We've still got our combat techno here. I kind of wish that would tone back down. Something about the light flicker is not. It's doing something. I don't know. It's kind of artifacty. It's annoying. I'll stop looking at it. It's one of the few things about this game that doesn't work quite nicely visually today. Some ammos. Is this where we came down, or no? I think. Anyway. Yeah, this is the first Nolly who has a little secret to show us. So we follow him around. I mean, I'm saying he. I hope I'm not misgendering Nolly here. I don't know what kind of gender concept, if any, they have. Thank you, Mr. Nolly. And yeah, this nice Nolly allowed us to get the third weapon in the game early. It's the Stinger, which launches these kind of thingies. That's the other thing about the combat, is that like I don't necessarily like the weapons. Unreal Tournament 1's weapons are far better, in my opinion. I mean, these things are memorable, so they're cool and all, but I don't know. Like the Stinger, I think they did away with the Stinger for UT, and I think kind of a good reason for that, I guess. And yeah, and when a lot of Nolly, when they're done leading you to their little cache, they go into this meditation pose, and eventually they'll do this like teleport out thing. It's kind of amazing. Like, it's never ever explained, but it's like they kind of like transcend, like they phase out of existence or something. and it makes a really cool sound. It's like it's a teleport sound, and it's one of my favorite sounds in this game. I don't know if this particular nollie is going to do it, but some of them do. Yeah, and so this is like an intruder notice. I guess the Scarge in this mine have taken notice of us and stuff. Forget where I'm going here exactly. I'm stopping to smell the roses and getting all turned around here. So wait, this is the way I came, right? Yeah, okay, that's the... And yeah, like the vividness of the lighting, you know, like most first-person shooters would be very bashful about being this colorful, but Unreal will just bust out the really brightly colored and very saturated colored lights, which I really enjoy. Okay, that's the way that we came in. And now I think we can go in here. No, I'm sorry. I was playing this just recently, and actually, am I meant to drop down here? Oh yeah, that's right. No, this is the way forward. It's another like explode the barrel and open up the way. Now we're in this kind of like industrial foundry kind of place. The doors are locked. Katonk. This is something that I noticed this game doing a heck of a lot is Quake and Unreal era first-person shooters. Most of those engines supported moving brushes. Like you could have, you know, things that were made out of arbitrary brush geometry, you know, and in some cases you could move them around. And there's a lot of things in Unreal 1 that are just like interact with a mover, by which, you know, because there's no use key in Unreal, they specifically just mean bump your player collision cylinder into it. They get a lot of... They clearly thought of that as a form of gameplay. And it's not nothing. I mean, interacting with stuff in the environment is definitely kind of cool. It's definitely, having done some of this myself in Unreal Engine 1 for professional titles and stuff, it is definitely kind of labor-intensive to create a mover and then get it lighting correctly as well as moving correctly, and it's going to have baked-in lighting. So, bless you, Unreal Engine 1 level designers, for taking the time to have good mover interactions. Yeah, just some more cool atmospheric stuff. We'll actually pass through there later. This is like a masked texture that just, you know, creates a viney effect hanging down. That's really just like a 2D plane that has that texture on it, but it looks pretty good. They had a pretty distinct... oh, that enemy actually got a shot off at us. This is another... Whoa! This is another hilariously ornate mover interaction here. There's a little platform with an arm, and it lifts us up and takes us on that track. You know, it's... I guess this is supposed to be a mining operation or something, so it's just a thing, you know. Yeah, and that's actually a look outside. We're above where we were earlier. Staticky light. Hataikma. That's what the Nolly say when they're beckoning you. Hataikma. More cool pulsy light effect coming off those consoles, I guess. Oh yeah, that's right. This Nolly opened up an armor cache for me. And even though I'm completely full up on armor, I still appreciate it. I'm going to catch up on the chat here. Oh yeah, maybe my combat script made the encounter music not end. That is possible. If it's not tied directly to the death, or maybe it starts... maybe the music starts after my mod code has killed the Scarge, and so it waits for a condition that never arrives. Yeah, the Nolly are really tall relative to you. Sorry, I'm just fielding questions and comments from the chat here. the design docks place them at 9 feet tall. I did not know that the Unreal design docks were out there. That would be interesting to see. Yeah, good comments about the colored light stuff. The best skies in Unreal are in the latter half of the game. I totally agree. Yeah, okay, alright, let's continue. Oh, yeah, there's another meditating Nolly. Yeah, I mean, so the Nolly are definitely, like, kind of cribbed from... They've sort of got this... You know, their design cribs some stuff from, like, Native Americans and Buddhist monks and stuff, so... But it... You know, it's kind of its own alien thing, and then there's actually, like, a sort of a spin on, like, Christian imagery that we see later in the game. So it's kind of all over the place. I mean, it's definitely a very obvious synthesis, but I think it works, and nothing about it strikes me as being problematic, but I don't know. I'm probably not the most educated person to ask about that. This is another really cool, colorful area with lava. Oh, hey, yeah, there's another Nolly who's leading me to a cache. This one is highly worth getting because it's got the first dispersion pistol upgrade. So this weapon was the weapon that we picked up at the very beginning, and it's a very weak-ass weapon that has infinite, like, regenerating ammo. But when we pick up an upgrade for it, it shoots a different color and becomes more powerful. And by the end of the game, it's actually reasonably powerful. So yeah. And this Nolly is just going to go chill out. Yeah, some of these beams break, which is just a total screw job. I really don't like it. Like, you will just get dumped straight into the lava, and there is a way back up, but it's just kind of a designer, you know, punching you right in the throat kind of thing. You know, it's like you can't really avoid it, and I don't know. There's a mega health like through here, but I have no idea how to get there. There's clearly some sort of little secret that I've got to bump with my head, but I don't know what that is. There's another area with cool lighting, and this is just a classic Unreal 1 fire texture effect. You can see these little sort of triangular blobs that was sort of like the basic molecule of those effects. And you can actually play with those in real time in Unreal Ed. You can open up a fire texture and just click the mouse and like to paint onto it. It's really fun to play with, and I made some procedural texture stuff for, I guess, some of the stuff that I did for Rune Halls of Valhalla back when I was working with Unreal Engine 1. And I guess we got some combat techno, so that was another point where we were meant to have a scary fight. Thing that comes up here. And yeah, that lets us just kind of monkey around down here. And yeah, there's a whole like secret-y bit kind of here, but oh yeah, that's right. This isn't open yet, and yeah, that's right. We need to go on this little errand here to little sub-quest to get that door open. Okay, yeah, so if I recall, this will definitely kill you if you're not careful. That is a fan, and it's got some sort of like physics volume or just push zone. It probably would have had to have been done with zoning, not volumes, because volumes are an Unreal Engine 2 thing. But anyway, this will definitely suck you into those fan blades and kill you. So that's why I saved. Okay, cool, I made it. But yeah, it's another thing that I think was probably cool in concept, but ends up just being kind of a screw job in practice. The sound effect coming off of this is interesting. Like, It kind of reminds me of the System Shock 2 ambient sounds, which tended to have very high volume and low radius. That was something that I remember Emily Ridgway telling me, having analyzed it on Bioshock 1. You walk up to that machine and it's making like this weird sound that you can't quite figure out what it is. It's just sort of like whining, and it's mixed with like this texture and colored lighting thing. So it just like it's like this, what's this weird alien machine? Well, I guess if I frob it, then I open up the door and can leave the level. But yeah, I don't know. Machines making like inexplicable sounds. You know, I think that's a good part of this game's atmosphere. I don't think it's not quite as awesome as Eric Brocious' amazing timeless ambient sound effect work on the Thief games and System Shock 2, but you know, it's pretty good. Hello. It's hot and sweaty in here, right? Because there's lava. The Nolly do that idle anywhere, so they're not going into that level of detail with it, but it's fun to pretend. I forget how I'm supposed to get up here. Yeah. I don't know, yeah, I don't really care about that mega health. So yeah, that like drops out. I think there's an enemy who normally comes across that bridge, and you can hit the switch and drop them into the lava, because that's fun. Also sort of foreshadowing what you end up doing with it later in the game. Oh yeah, Per Vognsen says the fire textures are a cool example of the demo scene influence on the first Unreal. Totally agree, and yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I super love about it. Another one is the mod music. Yeah, this music is tracker format, like basically like Scream Tracker analogous, and yeah, it's by Alexander Brandon, who also did the Deus Ex soundtrack. Actually, the Unreal soundtrack is by a bunch of different artists. I forget the names of a lot of other folks, but yeah, a lot of talented folks made cool tracker music for this. And tracker music was a little, you know, was almost recognizably retro or demo scene-y at the time. You know, I mean, mod tracker music is most closely associated with Amiga stuff. These are fog balls, by the way. These are just like little fog spheres that you just kind of walk through to create like this, I don't know, in this version of the renderer it really blows out to white, but you know, they're just throwing as much tech demo-y type stuff as they can, because this is still like the first hour or so of the game. And this is like a big area where you're doing combat, I guess, but it's not terribly interesting without it, so we'll just find the little switch here, and yeah, that's right, we go after this. Those little sounds we're hearing are like the occasionally unsuccessfully suppressed death gurgle of one of the little enemies. It's a little mover interaction. You know, they were like, okay, well, this is sort of a valve type thing, so let's make it like an eye shape thing, and make it rotate into position rather than just sliding into position. You know, just kind of looking through the level design toolkit and saying, what do we got that's cool? All right, so I think that opens the door. It's another shield belt that I'm not going to get, because who cares? Crates. And yeah, now we're outside again. And I forget, like, I feel like it should have changed music here, but I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right, it fades out. I don't know exactly how you do that with the level scripting, but that's another thing it could do, is like dial down the music, which I think is really valuable for creating like just these quiet moments, or sort of like cleansing the palette before you go into another big aesthetic shift in the game. Little swamp noise. There are a few ambient noises in Unreal 1 here that left just a really strong impression on me. The swamp noise. There's also a wind sound that actually gets used. I must have been off of a stock sound effect CD. Yeah, like I really strongly associate with Unreal and Unreal Tournament that I really love. I'll call it out when we run into it. So this is like a go underwater for a while thing, because that temple is gated off, and we've got to like take this covert underwater path in. It's pretty well metered to how long we can breathe before starting to drown. That opens that up. Uh-oh. Did I get closed off? Maybe I did. Wood must break free, for that will be the key. Well, that's not the best rhyme in the world, but this little mover thingy is pretty cool. You know, you hit like the little lever, and then it just levitates a water brush, and now you're in the water. Which is freaking cool. It's a cool little thing. And yeah, I guess this is the front of the thing. Only the purest of heart may pay homage to the god of the good lore, Chisra. To the god of the good lore, Chisra. I don't know exactly what that means. This is Nolly Healing Fruit, by the way. They're just little plants that give you health, and later on you find some seeds that you can plant in the ground. You just throw them on the ground, and they gradually grow. It plays like this cool vertex animated thing that turns them into a full Nolly Healing Fruit. And you have to wait until they're fully grown before you can get the full healing benefit. Cool skylight. And yeah, now we're in a temple. I don't know if this is what they were talking about with wood must break free. I guess I am breaking free a piece of wood. And then that's the, and then I smack that thing, and then that opens this, so that must have been what it was talking about. Ow. Hey, buddy. So yeah, we're in a Nolly temple. This Nolly does not seem displeased with me profaning their holy site. With some flares. Catching up on the chat here. Yeah, good point. Making you walk outside between locations in the game is great on all aspects. Scale, consistency, sense of traveling and progress, exposition, and as you mentioned, limiting the harshness of the aesthetic shift. Yeah. I enjoy it. You know, I think they probably also realized that, like, those outdoor vista-type areas were one of their pretty unique strengths. And so just interspersing them through the levels. This game was made by several different level designers, obviously, and they were all working in different places until the very end of development. And so it has a very... that's actually something that it has a little bit in common with Half-Life. Not that the Half-Life 1 team was working in different places, but, you know, a lot of areas in the game were made in relative isolation from one another. And so they have very different, in addition to just being aesthetically different, they also have really different gameplay focuses and just level design styles, which I think is, yeah, that's just a lovely view right there. You're seeing the palm trees out the window, and a bird flies by. Nice job. Nice job, Misha the sled dog, who designed this level. I really enjoy that touch. Good work. And so, yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, just aesthetically, we've been in a spaceship and a mine and a factory, and now we're, like, in a temple. You know, and like, I love that about this game. Yeah, I have another rant about that kind of thing, but I'll save it for later, I guess. If you get up close here, you can see this sort of like hammered bronze thing. That's coming from a detail texture. Like the actual, it would use this supplemental darken only like texture pass that I assume that there's a thing I'm supposed to be hitting here, right? Yeah, like when you would get up close to a surface, you know, you would be seeing, you know, this texture blurred out a lot. And so they figured, like, well, what if we tiled a sort of grit layer texture at a much higher resolution when you get up close to it? And that was detail textures, and they were used for many years in first-person shooters, because getting up close to walls is just something that the player does in those kinds of games. So it was a good, smart solution to it. It is a mover that simulates a physics object tumbling. Unreal 1 does definitely have physics. Like, there are pickups that can like slide and bounce along the ground, but under the hood they're always cylinders. So you know, when something had to tumble, you know, like an axis-aligned cylinder can't tumble. So yeah, no, this nollie has tattoos, and so they might be a holy person of some sort. Warrior who wields the Stick of Seven Fires. Yes, the Stick of Seven Fires. Foreshadowing something that we will acquire soon enough. And I forget exactly, like, this is where I came in, as I recall. I'm kind of turned around here. This level's somewhat maze-like. Okay, so yeah, now I think we can head down here. Alright, there's a guy meditating in there. Okay, that opens that back up. Okay, that's where I came from, right? Okay, I forget exactly what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah. Oh yes, Emlebled says, as a side note, I found it pretty cool how Unreal software render was roughly trying to replicate bilinear filtering. It worked very well. It did. Unreal 1's software render had a really distinctive look to it. That, yeah, like, I also have a weird kind of nostalgia for, and it's the kind of thing you probably could replicate most of what it's doing with different shaders nowadays. It would be a little ambitious to do that, but yeah, it was very impressive for its time. What am I missing here? Like, there's these things that I'm supposed to open. No, I don't want to shoot you. Weird. I'm a little bit stuck right now, I guess. Although, yeah, I'm definitely not getting back up here, right? Or maybe I am. Okay, that opens that up. Yeah, okay, well, it must be... Alright, maybe I'm meant to go here and jump down. Oh yeah, I totally am. I totally am. The water serpents and the demons who came from the stars. Only the Messiah can purify the temple now. Yeah, that's definitely something that, that's definitely one of the less original, aspects of this game's story, is that the Na'vi treat you like a chosen one or a Messiah. You know, they have a... So you end up being... You know, you basically end up being this world's equivalent of a white savior. What am I missing here? Ah, yes, that's right. Okay. So I can push down that thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Death traps. Good thing I had full shielding. What's up? I'm guessing that this was implemented, like they have these little waypoints that they run to, and they wait for you to come within X distance of those waypoints before they run off and do the thing. Okay, did you open something for me? Oh. Oh, I see. Whoa. That must have been a scripted Scourge bolt. So yeah, that's another thing that doesn't quite read how it should without the without enemies. Okay, so now I'm back here. It's not actually clear to me what... Oh yeah, I've probably opened this at this point, right? There we go, yeah. Now I've opened this. Excellent. Oh, right, now we're in this whole thing. That is a fire truck going by my house. Apartment, rather. Oh yeah, this is one of the human survivors who had made it this far into this temple. He's trying to acquire the stick of 6 fires. Normally we would be fighting a bunch of... they're like serpents or something. They're like these... I think they're native to this planet, and they're like just snakemen type dudes, and they're jerks. They're not a whole lot of fun to fight, I guess. So. Oh yeah, it's some sort of like water vial. And that like boils off the water, maybe? Ah, yes, that's right, and it powers this thing. Yet another very complicated mover. Alright, and this thing is going to take us on a little ride here. They're good about giving you looks at the sky. You know, they keep the same skybox throughout and then just give you a peek at it every now and then. Oh, I see, it's just going backward. Okay, yeah, and there is the Stick of 6 Fires, aka the 8-ball weapon. See, that's a bit confusing, I realize, because the Nolly call it the Stick of 6 Fires, whereas the in-game name for it is the 8-ball. Oh, phew, I didn't mean to fall down. Yeah, and there's like a whole big underwater section that you got to go through here that I may be bypassing. Maybe it's still yet to come. It's the focal point of Chisra, the Nolly water god's power. Whoa! It's cool that that did not jib me. Oh yeah, these guys have been like put in the stocks or something. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. These ammo pickups for the 8-ball, they play a little animation where they pop out when you get near them. It's just kind of a cool little thing that they do. And yeah, these poor guys, they're just kind of stuck on there. It's a real bummer. And I guess we probably get there eventually. Okay. So, yeah, there's all this swimming around stuff to be done, and I forget... Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of underwater, and normally we would be fighting like the sea serpenty enemies. No, Rohit, I am using the, I am actually using the Linux version. I am using the Unreal, the patch from oldunreal.com, like 227i or something, and it basically runs perfectly. Like, all of the speed limiting stuff was fixed, and, you know, it runs really nicely. They even added a few, like, render features, like shadow mapped shadows and stuff. It's really quite amazing. oldunreal.com. And yeah, I forget if it also runs on Mac, but what's up? Oops. Hey, what's up? That's the Nolly, like, panic noise. Yeah, I forget, like... Maybe this was the way I was meant to get into this area? That's another interesting thing about, like, playing with no enemies, is that, yeah, there we go. There's some Unreal Cylinder action for you. Cylinders that push along the ground. Simple, but it works. Okay. Yeah, that Nolly is acting panicked, even though I don't... Maybe they were just scripted to panic, or maybe the enemy existed there long enough for them to... But yeah, without, like... There are definitely situations in this game where the level designers use enemies for routing, just like hinting at where the player is supposed to go. And without that, yeah, like, you do get lost a little more. Okay, right, that's where I came from. Aha, okay, here we go. Okay, so this is, again, the Temple of Six Fires. We've got to go, like, do something now? To reach the Pool of Thunder, one must climb the loose stones. This is the Obelisk of the Cloud. Beyond lies the Pool of Thunder. Beware those of impure motives who enter the Pool of Thunder shall face the demon from the stars. Powerful strength comes from those who let the waterfall wash over them at the Pool of Thunder. So, what's weird about that is that those are presumably, like, ancient religious texts carved into that stele there. But they're speaking about something that happens in the present, so either there's, like, a weird parallelism between what's happening in the present and in this ancient sort of historical, scriptural context, or the game designers just kind of wanted to give something the ring of, you know, the ring of, you know, archaeology, I guess, or what have you. Oh yeah, and then we go into the Pool of Thunder, and I think that means I've been purified. Impure souls who bathe in the water. So, it's possible that this it's possible that nothing happened there because, well, I guess also, yeah, just the enemy, it just might have just gotten destroyed immediately. Yeah, that's probably it. I was gonna say, like, maybe it's because I haven't accidentally killed any Nolly, but probably not. Probably just tourism mod kicked in. Okay, so okay, and I think now this is came from the Nully Water God when the star fell from the sky. To find the star. So, like, yeah, it's again very unclear, like, whether this is actually, like, this temple, you know, pretty clearly seems to be an ancient place. But then they're also, like, talking about this thing that maybe it did come down, like, you know, hundreds of years ago or even 800 years ago, and they just, like, kept this piece of off-world technology around. Yeah, maybe that's, I don't know, I'm gonna go with that, I guess. But also, like, there's a scourge, like, in this temple. It's just sort of a little incoherent. I mean, it's the kind of thing that if you were shipping a game with this kind of story nowadays, you would want to just figure out a way to make that read more coherently, and I don't know, or maybe not. Like, that's the kind of thing that maybe some people would have just said, who cares, and, you know, I'm glad I'm not on a team with them, because it is sort of weird that when you do stuff like that. But I don't know, or maybe there is a fictional explanation for it. Okay, so that's where I went before. I think I can now leave. Pretty sure I can leave now. But I've got the Stick of Six Fires. Alright, that's that way. I think. Well, gosh. This is probably another case where. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. Cool. Yes. Yeah, that's the teleport sound that the Nolly make when they meditate out of existence, but also teleporters make it sometimes. And yeah, I just love, like, I don't know, it's just a cool teleporter effect going through a Stargate here. And here we are. Yeah, we're all the way back here now, and I forget. Ah, that's right. Yeah, we're through here now. The ceremonial chambers. Yeah, this temple does go on for a while. Yeah, there's the little ammo pickup popping open. Yeah, and I think here there's a lot more swimming. I can't get there. Yeah, there's all kinds of swimming and such. Oh yes, but I have a scuba thing now, so I can actually hang out underwater. Boink. Oh yeah, the lava temple area. I love it. Yeah, I forget if like an enemy shows up here or something. There might be a jerk sucker punch type thing that happens here. I don't rightly recall. Maybe not. I don't see any place for an enemy to be. Yeah, just, you know, random lava area off the main temple here. Because it would be cool. There was an American McGee interview that I read semi-recently on Quadicted, the Quake 1 map site. And I didn't quite realize this before, but the before I read this, most of the levels in Quake 1 that have lava in them are American McGee's. He just really loves lava, and he would put lava in levels. That was his jam, which is kind of adorable. So when I see lava in any first-person shooter now, particularly one from the 90s, I think of American McGee. So I hit a switch and I have no idea what it did, which is kind of never a good thing. Wait, did that... I better not have just shut something back the other way. Okay, I guess I gotta go this way. Interesting. Okay, well, I've now hit it an odd number of times, so hopefully I haven't shut anything. Yeah, like, there's just way too much similarity between, like, you look down that corridor, it looks a lot like this corridor. You know, they repeat that architecture multiple times, and it does not do them any favors direction-wise. Okay, that's the lava chamber. This is where I came in. Ugh. Blood. That's a cool carving thing. Oh ho. What's up? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh no, Nolly! Get back out of the water, bud. Ugh. No, let me try to save you. I'm saving you. Oh. Well, can't save them all. Darn it. Trying to get my cylinder beneath that nollies to push them back up to the surface, but I don't know how they fill in the water. I guess their AI can blunder in there sometimes, and then they just get stuck. They don't got any swimming AI. Oh, hello. Let me check the chat here. Oh yeah, David Pittman says, that lava room always reminds me of the top of that one tower in Thief's Lost City. Absolutely. I'm probably even thinking of that room. Man, that is a connection dear to my heart. 'Cause yeah, man, Thief 1. Oh, that's right, this is a whole thing. I think normally there's an enemy here. Scripted jerk damage. I wish I could do something about these guys, but I think the only thing that you can do is mercy kill them, and I don't feel comfortable making that ethical judgment for them. I don't know what the Nolly policy on euthanasia is. Oh, and now this thing opened, I guess. I don't know. Pfft. Gosh. Ugh. Kind of ready to be done with this area. It's really beautiful, though. I mean, yeah, this area, this room is particularly striking as far as just with the. Oh yeah, and I think this is a healing pool. Is there special healing water? All lit up, and yeah, that's a nice, you know, that's a recognizable orange and teal modern video game / movie thing. What's up, Mr. Nolly? Just chilling. Nice texture. I think, you know, like, it kind of manages to be, like, it's definitely got some Mesoamerican flavoring to it, but, like, it's kind of its own weird thing, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, now we're on this cool cart ride here, and the skybox has changed. It's now later in the day. And man, the clouds in that sky, like, still look really good. Like, this is, I don't know. There are parts of this game that almost still hold up, like, even to modern, you know, AAA game standards, and certainly if you made an indie game that just kind of, like, had this environment polygon budget, I would want to go lower res with the textures, honestly, but yeah, you know, good skybox and some nice lighting and interesting geo and use of texture, and, you know, you can kind of make it work. Oh yeah, this is some sort of contraption. That's right, it shoots that harpoon into the side of the cliff there. And then it creates a tightrope that you can walk along. So weird. And yeah, now we're going back up, sorta. This isn't where we, you know, this is just another stretch of the temple. So we're in a different room with healing water now. Some good old Terraniux crystals. Oh yeah, and now we get on what is basically a little ride, which I freaking love. Yeah, this little raft just goes along, and you don't really want to fall off of it, but yeah, you're just going down this tunnel, and it's all just Pirates of the Caribbean. This game was the first game that I remember having a discussion with a level designer or an artist at Human Head back in like 2000, 2001, and he was looking at, he was the first person to make, that I knew of, to make the connection between ride design, like at Disney World, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean and, you know, all that kind of stuff, and level design. I mean, it's especially applicable in the case of a game like Unreal, that is very much about set pieces, and it's also linear, so you can think about what the player is, you can quantify where the player is and what they're seeing and hearing at any given moment very predictably. So I think there is definitely a lot of crossover. I think with non-linear games and games that are more systems-driven, that connection breaks down. It's still a good byword for world building, you know. Alright, now we're in... I guess now we're in the Dark Arena, which is going to be a bit of an anticlimax just because you're supposed to face the Titan enemy there, and that Titan enemy will not be in evidence in this case, but I forget what I'm supposed to do here. Do I push these? So there are these statues. I want to get that door open, and there are these statues that I can... I forget what I'm supposed to do here. So those things are definitely not going back up. There's no translator thing to, yeah, gosh, what am I supposed to do here? Am I just supposed to hit one of these silly things? Oh! Oh, for Pete's sake. Like, See, I don't understand why they have to, like, camouflage the way forward like that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's not, it's not a very good puzzle. Lighting. Alright, and then we come outside again. And we're like, oh. Oh, that's right. We don't face the Titan yet. We're actually on the outside of this big gladiatorial arena kind of thing. Where the Nolly were being forced to hide, fight for sport. And the humans as well, I suppose. Yeah, so this is the weird, like, quasi-Christian imagery sort of thing. Like, they're, you know, because they have 4 arms, they've been tied up or nailed to these, like, 6-point crosses, which is weird. I escaped from my cell but can't find the strength to go on. Remember me to my family. That is a sad story of this Nolly. Oh, it's a little candle. This candle is a tiny little BSP triangle with... Oh, actually, wait. Wow, it's way more high poly than a triangle. That took some real time to do, to make this little candle. But yeah, there it is. Got a little fire texture on it. Alright, and now we're like in something that, an environment that feels a lot more kind of medieval. Dead human in there, so maybe that's another person who escaped from the prison ship or something. All kinds of screams. We're kind of back in a horror sort of vibe here. Architecture's a little samey, so can't exactly. Oh, here we go. Okay. And what's this do? Yeah, this is very much a medieval-ish kind of thing. When you boot up Unreal, you see them flying around the castle, which definitely uses some of the same textures and has a similar kind of vibe to it. The castle's another super great thing, like just having an attract mode that flies through a game level that just like really shows it off. I'm sure that sold the game to a lot of people right there. The castle fly through. Okay, and so I guess this is the front door. This is where I would have come in if I was a normal human who isn't all creeping around. The weak shall be struck down by the hand of the beast. Pretty metal. Okay, and that's like the basement-y kind of thing. But I think I'm meant to go up here. I don't know. Okay, this feels like we're making progress. See, even just like a lighting color temperature change, like it's more, the lighting is less saturated here, and they're using that blue and some natural light, whereas in here it's lit by these orange torches. Like, that's a good direction solution in this case. I like how, like this archway here, still would have taken some effort to make, especially in Unreal Ed 1. But, you know, like, you just kind of buy it like it's a stylistic thing, almost, instead of like, well, we would have done a super curved archway here if we could have. It's like, yeah, maybe, but, you know, the fact that everything's kind of like trapezoidal or, you know, made of these simple, you know, hard-edged shapes, I don't know, I think it kind of works. More mover fun there, some gears. Alright, and I think that opened the way into, yes, the titular dark arena. Alright, and this thing goes up, and We have a jerk to fight. Normally, a Titan would have come out of one of these things. I forget if one of these is supposed to come open or something. I guess those are combat music. Thing intended to only take a certain amount of damage, or what? To go. I think that's right. I'm kind of wondering if my tourism mod actually broke this, because I can tell just from like a little discontinuity in the lighting, in the world lighting here. Yeah, I'm just going to ghost through this real quick. Oh. Didn't quite ghost all the way through it. In Unreal, it's called ghosting. The command is ghost, and then you walk to exit no-clip mode. Yeah, I think this is where I was meant to go. I wonder why that didn't work. Or why that broke. Possible it was expecting the Titan to do something while it was still alive, and I just kill it off immediately, or I don't know. Gosh, maybe a lot of this stuff isn't opening correctly. Gosh, maybe I really broke it. Well, maybe I'll just have to fly all the way through here. And just pretend that I got through. There's a button right there. Oh, close to the stairs. Sorry, chat lag means I'm... whoa! Hey, that's the skybox, by the way. The skybox is a little room that a camera goes down in. Oh wait, did I load into the new level? I guess I did. Okay. That's a heck of a thing. Alright, anyway. There was a button. I missed it. And then we come out, and we're back in the outdoors. You still see the sun spire there. There's like a village here. I think this is Harabed Village, maybe? It's one of those... It's just a cool, peaceful, gnolly place. And yeah, we're outside, and the sun is going... Oh, that's right, it's a binary system. So there's two suns in the sky. And one of them is setting. And it just looks real pretty. Oh yeah, that's right, there's the Abbey up here. Fantastic. So, as best as I can remember, this whole thing here is completely optional. I think I could have just continued on down the valley. And I really love that. Like, this is just a bona fide side area kind of thing. Just sort of like, you know, builds the world and gives you a nice change of pace. There is definitely a fight here, but you know, it's a it's cool. It sort of disrupts your sense of when something is safe versus not, I think. This takes us up to the bell tower, I believe. Yes. And our reward for going off the beaten path here is the flak cannon. A classic Unreal weapon, for sure. Dunk. Oh yeah, that just summons the thing. And yeah, it gives us a beautiful view of the sunset. And yeah, I think there's another cathedral-y type space elsewhere here. Ah, yes. Pray before we set off for the Sun Spire. That's the Nolly referring to another location that we will get to at some point. What's up? Is this the Nolly worshipping me because I'm the chosen one? I'd prefer for that not to be the case. But... oh yeah, yeah. This is basically what the flak cannon looks like, even in through all versions of Unreal and Unreal Tournament. And yeah, it's an interesting weapon. Like, it's basically a shotgun, but the fragments like bounce. In multiplayer, it ends up very much being a spam weapon, which is sort of obnoxious. But it is cool. It's definitely a signature. When I think of signature Unreal weapons, I kind of think of like the flak cannon, the ASMD core, and the Razor Jack. This is the ASMD core, by the way. It has like a sort of hit scan primary fire and then like a pulse thing. This is also like it looks different in modern versions of Unreal Tournament, but it basically functions the same. And I think it has the shock combo. Yeah, so you can do the shock combo. So. Yeah, the flak cannon, the ASMD core, and the I don't know. There's several signature weapons. Like Unreal does a pretty good job distinguishing itself. The bio rifle, as wacky as it is, the rocket launcher that can load up multiple things, you know. And what else was I thinking of though? The Razor Jack, which just launches razor blades. It's just such a 90s. Video game touch. Yeah, there's just like a nice little fire going here, and there's a dark attic, and you're like, oh, what's up there? Put down a flare. Oh, and there's a... right, and there's a Nolly who's talking about how they're being exterminated by the Scourge, so... good little bit of world building. So yeah, that whole thing is just kind of off the beaten path. I don't think I was opening up the way forward or anything. You can just, you know, you want to go there because it's like a little friendly looking village and you get the flak cannon, so it's super cool. I love it. And yeah, now we're coming up on another spaceship here. It really is just like this jam-packed like Epcot center of different attractions and subject matters, you know. It's like, oh wow, there's a huge ship here, and it looks like it kind of, or it's either a ship or like a power plant. I think it's a plant that the Scourge had going. Although it kind of looks like it's broken down here, you know, like this bridge here broke down. You can peek underwater. Don't think there's much though, much of interest. Yes, and then that's when we start running into these guys, like these sort of cybernetic mercenary dudes that are in the Scourge employ. And we get into something that, I think this was done by Enox. Yeah. Yeah, so this is sort of yet another, like, sci-fi aesthetic nesting within this game. It was just a different level designer doing their own kind of thing. And yeah, it's the first time you see this style of switch. It's just a thing it's just another mover push button thing. And yeah, I don't know what's supposed to, like, I don't know if this is a bug or what. Like, it's a surface that you can just clip through, which, like, Doom Engine, they absolutely used that kind of thing for that kind of thing as a secret, but it's a little out of place and weird here, but yeah. This is a big, tall elevator. I forget, was I supposed to call the elevator or what here? It's not a shootable thingy. So weird. Oh yeah, and that's a barrel of sludge that drops little gobs of goo. That's a plant, I guess. DSP plant. Yeah, what are we supposed to do here? Missing here. Now I think there is an enemy on that elevator, so maybe yeah, maybe I goofed up here. Maybe I can't get in there, huh? Yeah, that door's not opening. Man. Well, maybe maybe this was another thing that broke because of my my tourism mod. I know that you take the elevator up here. Pear says, fun fact, Enox was creative director on the recently released $100,000 machine Star Wars Battle Pod arcade racing game from Namco Bandai. I totally saw that in Seattle a while ago. I didn't know what the Battle Pod was all about, but yeah, that's cool. I had no idea. I didn't know where Enox was at these days. That's cool. So yeah, now we're just inside of like just a straight up like kind of nukage green slime plant with like futuristic Klingon UI and a mirrored floor. Oh, there's my shield belt. Looking good. So yeah, I'm kind of considering whether this is a good time to stop for the night, because it's been a while and my voice hurts a little, and also this level, I don't know how I feel about this level. Like, I like several things about it aesthetically, but it's a bunch of like just running around and just trying to manage this sludge and... Oh yeah, that's the super cool shield effect right there. I love it. Yeah, what am I missing here? Like, I guess, well, yeah, I guess I'm meant to take a dive in this sludge, right? Yeah. Clearly. Oh, right, we can come up here. Yeah, but that doesn't do us much good. Are these things open? No. Do not access except in case of emergency situation. Yeah, I forget where. swim under here. That's the shielded area, and I think there's like a bunch of stuff I gotta do before I can really get in there. And these are just gratings over the... Well, gosh, where... Yeah, and I know that at some point you drain all of this sludge, but so I can just be like running around in the... Dang, yeah, this really does feel like the critical path. Get through there, huh? Oh. Was I not? Oh, there's a freaking door here. No, it doesn't open. Well, shucks, I am stumped. Alright, well, I think I'll call it quits for tonight. Maybe figure out a way of what I'm actually supposed to do. Maybe make absolutely sure that my mod didn't break anything here. But yeah, that's a stumper. But yeah, okay. Well, I think I'll end it. I think I'll cut it here for the night. But thank you very much for joining me and watching me play through Unreal with all of its combat removed. It's an interesting game. Yeah, I don't know. It's just got kind of a nostalgic, warm, fuzzy place for me. But there's still interesting things that I would totally pillage into a future project if I had the chance someday. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do another chapter of this where we play further into the game. There's some levels deep in the game, like the Sunspire and Bluff Ever Smoking and the castle that I really, really love. They're just vast and interesting to explore and kind of show the game off at its best. But yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Maybe next time I feel like just taking a nostalgia crawl through 1998 FPS spaces. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and commenting and being a good audience. I really appreciate it. And yeah, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.